Treat. Joining us now, the sponsor of H.R. 997, the English Language Unity Act, Iowa Congressman Steve King. Congressman, overall, what would this accomplish? What would be the practical effect of designating English as the official language of the U.S.?
Well, the most important component of it, John, is that it requires the federal government to promote English as the official language rather than to, as now, as there's a practice out there under Bill Clinton's Executive Order 13166, to undermine it. And it provides for a continuity and a consistency between our Constitution, our laws, our regulations, our public proceedings, so that there's a common communications form of currency that we know is the standard in law, that being English. And that's, of course, the unifying language that's helped build this country.
You have been at this a while. I know you got it passed in the Iowa legislature, and it's now Iowa state law, back when you were a state legislator. You brought it to Congress in 2003. You got 107 co-sponsors. The thing didn't go anywhere. You brought it back in 2005, introduced it again. It didn't go anywhere. You brought it back in 2007, 2009, and now you've brought it back in 2011. Some would say you're tilting at windmills.
Well, that's what they said on my 6th year in the Iowa Senate when I brought it back for the 3rd time, the 3rd General Assembly. And then Governor Tom Vilsack signed that bill into law. And so it is a bit of a long march to get here, but I would look at the decisions made by the chairs of Ed and Workforce. They haven't been favorable towards it, and it's hard to get past that barrier. We now have it, though, assigned to the Judiciary Committee where I sat. It's a more favorable climate there, and I think the public understands that this administration and many of the people on the hardcore left in this country are about dividing America and pushing us into language enclaves, ethnic enclaves, welfare enclaves. That's warfare. We need a unified United States of America, and there is no more powerful unifying tool throughout all of history and humanity than a common language, and I'm really grateful that it's English in this country. If it were something else, I'd be for that.
I double-checked the website of the Citizenship and Immigration Service in this country. They have a list of 8 bullet points required for citizenship in the United States, and number 7 on that list, we've got a readout for it, I think. You have to be able to read, write, and speak English and have knowledge and an understanding of U.S. history and government, or civics. If that's the case, why do we even need an amendment like yours, a bill like yours?
Yeah, and that language is not very well enforced, and it's interpreted loosely. I have seen, and many in this country have seen, citizenship oaths taken in foreign languages. I've given speeches at naturalization ceremonies. I like to go there. I like to welcome new Americans, but I can notice if I tell a joke who laughs and who doesn't. Those that don't understand English don't laugh at those jokes, but they're being sworn in as American citizens. This bill requires that they understand the Declaration, the Constitution, the laws written from it in English. So it's a tighter standard than we have today, and I think it will be very conducive to the requirement of new citizens, not past naturalized, but new citizens, to be able to understand our history and our historical documents like the Declaration and the Constitution.
Congressman, you're a Republican. Republicans generally want government to get out of people's lives. What's with the requirement of a government making people speak English, or designating English as the nation's language?
Well, I'd like to have government get out of our lives in promoting multilingualism and spending unnecessary money and printing documents in multiple languages. It diffuses our society. This is a fiscally responsible thing to do. It will save billions over the long run, and government costs in printing and in hiring interpreters. And our ancestors came here to this country with all of those assists, and they were able to assimilate into America. For example, my grandmother came from Germany. She sent my dad to kindergarten speaking only German. When he came home from his first day in school, he said hello to his mother in German, and she turned to him and said, "Speaking German in this household is for you from now on verboten. I came here to become an American, and that means learning English, and the way I'm going to learn it is you will go to school and learn English and bring it home and teach it to me." That's the kind of reverence that they had back in that generation, and it doesn't mean that there aren't other ways that families deal with this, but we want to promote English as the unifying force in America for all people, wherever they come from, whatever their native language happens to be.
In L.A., for instance, they print ballots in 7 different languages. Congressman Steve King will keep an eye on this bill and see if it actually comes to the floor this session. Thanks very much.
Thank you, John.